Once you've downloaded the ImageCam zip file, all you need then to do is to unzip it. So first of all, you right click on the zip file and then use one of the extract options. This will then extract a folder called ImageCam. You can then click on ImageCam to install ImageCam, and then you use this icon here saying ImageCam to install. Simply click on that. That will install it onto your desktop. Once installed, you'll have a red and white icon like this on your desktop. Simply click on this to start running ImageCam. To start using ImageCam, simply click on the ImageCam icon. Once it opens, you can resize the recording area simply by dragging and dropping from any corner, or use the more precise ways of doing this from within the options given here. This will then give you a more precise and accurate size that you want. To start recording, simply click record. This will then invite you to save your image where you want, or your GIF where you want on your PC. So once you've given it a name, once you click save, it will then start to record immediately. So once you click save, we are now recording. So wherever I move my ImageCam to, it will then record. I can pause it. I can then, for example, then go to, this is a Word document. So I can then unpause it. I can start typing. I can then pause it again. I can open up this is an email from Outlook. I can then unpause it. I can type my subject. So whatever goes on within this recording area will then be recorded within the image. You can pause, and once you're ready, you can then click stop. That will then save it to the image. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an animated header image. Now, this would be used at the top of web pages, for example. Now, with this particular one, because of the recording area within the video, I've shrunk this down a bit. So normally it would be a bit wider, something like 800 wide. But this is the template provided, and it's called the header template. Within this template is a table. You can see the table because if I grab down the bottom right hand corner, you can see that I'm grabbing hold and adjusting the size of the template. This template just has two cells, one on the left, one on the right. And so the only reason it's got that is because on the left hand side I've got an image. If you don't want an image to appear in the in the final version, then you could actually just use a normal Word document. But if you want to use an image, an icon, etc. as part of the image, swap this image with an image you want to use. And then within this area, you simply then want to remove the content once you know what you want to say. And then open up ImageCam, position it over the area, and then click record. This is first going to ask you to save the image, so I'm going to save. Now remember, as soon as I click save, it's going to start recording. So I'm going to click save and it will start recording. This will then allow me to then start typing. So because you've got it within a table, it will then wrap the wrap whatever you are typing so that it doesn't spill out of the printable area. So once you've done that, you can either pause it and then restart, and then ultimately you want to stop. So that has now saved your GIF image, and it will then play back what you have recorded. For creating the Google Plus covers, go to the template folder and open up the Google Plus cover template. First of all, before we go into this, I just want to show you at the top here, I've gone to page layout, and then you can go to page color and change the background color. This is partly why I choose Word to work in for this, but also when you're working within Word, when you're typing, etc., you don't get lots of other different characters appear, for example, like you might have in PowerPoint, for example. Plus, you've also got lots of other layout options, design options that you can use to change the effects of the, obviously something like that you're not going to use, but you've got lots of other different effects you can apply to your cover images. When you open up the template, you'll see at the bottom we've got a recording size should be 1080 by 609. This is a suggested size that now Google won't use the entire size, it will still ask you to crop it, but if you start with that, it seems to be the recommended size, so make sure these are used within the settings bottom left hand corner. I've actually just reduced the recording size purposely just for the making of this video, so it fits within my video recording screen. But first of all, what you want to do is to note that within the template we've got a table. It's a two-cell table, so you've got the image on one side or the icon on one side and the text on the other. You can play with this as much as you like. I've just done this as a suggestion. I just prefer this particular layout. So you want to change your image if you're going to have an icon or something within there, and then I would suggest that obviously you remove the content so that you can then type in your content, change the font style, change the color, etc. And then all you would need to do is once you've hit record, you would then simply start typing. Okay, so obviously you can see that I've made a mistake there. Normally Word would correct this anyway, but it may be because it's the font style that I'm using. But sometimes I don't actually worry about these things too much if you make a change, particularly for certain recordings, because the fact that somebody sees an image displaying or showing that you're changing spelling mistakes, for example, can actually make them take more notice than if it's a crystal clear, perfected recording. And then once you're happy with the recording, simply click stop and then upload to Google. In this video, I'm just going to cover the key features associated with ImageCam. Firstly, you can resize the recordable area by grabbing hold of any corner with your mouse, and that will resize it. You'll also see the dimensions change on the bottom panel here, and you can also just change the numbers or the digits. So if I change the 497 to 400, you'll see that it automatically reduces the width. If I go to 200 on the height, you'll see it automatically reduces that, so you get exact dimensions that you need. Also on the bottom left here, we've got max FPS. This is the frame rate. It gets a little bit technical, but if you go to Wikipedia and do a search for frame rate, it'll tell you about frame rates. It'll explain it far better than I can. In fact, it's something I invariably don't use, so invariably it's something you probably won't use unless you've got an extreme recording situation. Nextly, we've got the record button, so let's go to the record button. After hitting the record screen, you'll then have the usual save screen you would be familiar with on your PC. You want to give the file a name. You then move down to the bottom section. We've got title frame. If you tick that, you can then set the number of seconds that you want the title frame to appear for. So I've got it set here to 10 seconds, so that means it'll create its own title frame. Now this is quite basic, it's just a black screen the same size as the recording area, and you can set it, for example, if you set it to 1 second, it will just set that title screen to play for 1 second, or if you set it to 10 seconds, it'll hold it there for 10 seconds before it moves on to what you are actually recording. You can put in this area, you can put in there a short title. It's quite limited, you can't change the font, etc. You can change the font, whether it's a big font or not by ticking and unticking the big font tick box. But other than that, it's quite limited, but that is the limits we have when dealing with images in this way. You could actually have the same effect by typing out on a Word document, for example, changing the font and then just recording that. But this option is there. You've also got the option to, down the bottom here, it says GIF repeat count. If you have it on 0, it means that whatever you've recorded will just go in a loop, so it'll play over and over again. It's good for some situations. If you've got it in a situation where you want somebody just to see it once, you would then just change the 0 to 1. It will then play once and then stop. If you set it to 5, it will play 5 times and then stop. If you set it to 10 times, etc., it will just play for those number of times and then stop. Once you've set it off to record, if you hit the pause button, you then get an insert button. You can click that and it does as discussed before, but this time it'll insert a text frame the same as before into that position within the image. Again, you can set the duration of it, and you can insert it once or twice. Just simply type in what you want. You can then insert it. It could then move forward. You can insert another one, and you'll see the number goes up. So you're actually inserting multiple frames. Once you unpause, it will then go on and continue recording after those frames. Finally, when you're finished, just click stop and it'll then record or complete the recording. Once your image has created, it will play the same as it is in this example, but it will only play like this within a browser environment. So let me show you how to do this. Here's a static image. It's sat on my desktop. If I click on that, it then opens it in Microsoft Office Picture Manager, and as you can see, it's static, it's not playing. Let me show you how to play it. I'm demonstrating this within Chrome. If we look to the left, here's the image sat on my desktop, and here is the browser. All we need to do is drag the image across from the desktop and drop it into the browser, and immediately the image will start playing.